Hello students. So today in this video we are going to discuss about the animal tissues. In our Zoom session we have discussed about plant tissues, right? Now how the animal tissues are very different from plant tissues, that we'll see through this video. Okay, now if I ask you what is the difference between plant and animal, the first thing that will come in your mind is the plants are stationary, or they stay at one place only, whereas animals can move from one place to another, right? That is the basic difference that comes in our mind. But apart from this also, if you compare plants and animals, you will find so many other differences as well, like the mode of reproduction, the mode of nutrition, the mode of respiration, etc., right? So what do you think, which one is more complex, plants or animals? Yes, you guessed it correctly, it is animals. If you see the structure and function, the structure and functions of animals are more complex as compared to plants, right? And that is the reason the animal tissues are also more structured and more specialized. Fine. So let us see few things about animal tissues. First is most of them are living. When we were discussing about plant tissue, at various places you must have read that plant tissues, so and so plant tissues are dead, right? No doubt in plant also we have living tissues, but many places it is dead. But in case of animal tissues, most of them are living. And secondly, they are more structured, specialized and more localized, because as we discussed earlier, the animal tissues need to carry out more complex function and they need to carry out more number of functions, right? And that is the reason they are more structured, more specialized and more localized. Now the type of tissue that we have in different parts of our body are different. Like the tissues which are present in your brain are not similar to the tissues which are present in your hands, right? Similarly, the tissues which are present inside the kidney will not be similar to the tissues which are present inside the lungs or maybe in the heart. Fine. So depending upon their location and their function, there are 4 different types of animal tissues, which is epithelial, connective, muscular and nervous. So we are going to see these types one by one. To begin with, we have a first type, that is epithelial. Now you will say that ma'am, this word is quite similar to the word epidermis which we have seen into plant tissues. Yes, so their functions are also very much similar. Epidermis, the function of epidermis in plant tissue is to form the covering, right? Similarly, epithelial tissues in animal form the covering. They form the covering of external surface of internal cavity and organs, and also they form the linings of different organs. Like inside our mouth we have a thin layer. Okay, if you touch your cheek, the inside of your cheek, you will notice that you have a thin layer, because of which you are not able to touch the muscles of your cheek, right? You have a layer, right? You have a lining. So that kind of lining of blood vessels, lining of alveoli, lung alveoli, etc., have epithelial tissues. Epithelial tissues are tightly packed and they form a continuous sheet. They are tightly packed. Why? Yes, the reason is their function. They are supposed to protect the organ that they are covering, right? If they are loosely packed, then the intercellular spaces will be more, so anything can go inside and come outside, right? But this is not something that we want. When we say it is forming a covering, it should be able to protect that particular organ, and that is the reason epithelial tissues are tightly packed and they also form a continuous sheet. It is continuous. Like for example, if you are giving a gift to your friend and if you want to wrap it up, will you just wrap the upper portion of the box? No, right? You would like to cover it entirely so that it looks good and it will, protect the wear and tear as well, right? So likewise, the epithelial tissues form the continuous sheet. It is present in every part. Okay, everything is covered with the epithelial tissues. It is present in skin, it is present in lining of mouth, blood vessel, lung alveoli, kidney tubules, etc. Now let us quickly see the functions of epithelial tissues. First is it acts as a barrier and separate different organs and system from each other. Because epithelial tissues are present, the organs are separated. I give you an example of the inside of your cheek. Imagine if your epithelial tissues are not there, then your muscles will be in continuous touch with your teeth, right? And that will be problematic. If epithelial tissues are not there, then the heart will be in continuous touch with the blood that is flowing, or it will be directly in touch with the different muscles of the respiratory system, right? But this is not the case because we have epithelial tissues and they form a barrier. Okay, now when I said they are tightly packed, I told you that if they are loosely packed, anything can go inside, anything can come outside, and the protection will be less. But that doesn't mean that epithelial tissues do not allow the exchange at all, because inside our body, different organs exchange materials with each other. Like if imagine if heart is not able to give the pure blood to the other part of the body, will we able to survive? No, right? Similarly, the respiratory system, the organs of respiratory system should be able to exchange the oxygen gas and the carbon dioxide gas, okay, from the different parts. So for that purpose, for the exchange of materials, the epithelial tissues are also, the cells of the epithelial tissues are also permeable. Permeable means they allow the exchange of different materials. Next, the epithelial tissues remain separated from the tissues beneath them because of the thin membrane over them. Epithelial tissues always have a thin membrane which is also called a basement membrane. This basement membrane separates these epithelial tissues from the organ on which it is forming a covering. So if it is forming a covering on say uterus, then the outer surface of the uterus and epithelial tissues will be separated by the basement membrane. Now what does this basement membrane do? So the basement membrane provides all the nutrition to the epithelial tissues, as well as it provides a support as well. Okay. Now epithelial tissues are also of different types. There are 4 different types of epithelial tissues. We are going to see them one by one. Okay. Now why we have these 4 types? Because as I said, epithelial tissues are present almost everywhere in your body, right? Now every part of our body is not same. That is the reason the epithelial tissues which are present in different part of our body are also different. So the first type is called simple squamous epithelial. Now what is that? So these simple squamous epithelial tissues contain cells which are very thin, they are flat, and they form a very delicate lining, very thin lining. The esophagus and the lining of mouth are covered by this squamous epithelial tissues. Okay. The skin, like we have epithelial tissues on our skin also, but this skin has a function to protect our body. So it is also made up of squamous epithelial tissues, but in this the skin is not that thin. Our skin is not that thin, right? We have got different layers of skin. So here in the skin, the epithelial cells are arranged in many layers, and these layers prevent us from any kind of wear and tear. Though like for example, many a times inside the kitchen, if you are cooking something, you may get burned, or even if you touch a hot object, you get burned, right? But that doesn't mean the inside, like suppose your hand some part of your hand gets a burn, the muscles or the bone of that part doesn't get affected, right? That is because of the skin. The skin has various layers, and because of that it is protected properly. The inside organs are protected properly. So the type of epithelial cell which forms this different layer, okay, is called stratified squamous epithelial, which you can see in the second figure. Okay, you can see various layers. Squamous is just a thin layer, but in stratified you have got layers of squamous tissues. Okay, so it is present in the skin. Then there is a third type which is called a columnar epithelium. Now where this type of tissues are present? So there are some places in our body Okay, some organs in our body where absorption and secretion is very common. Like for example, if you consider the lining of our intestine, there the secretion of different juices, different enzymes is very normal thing or very usual thing, right? So there if I have a squamous tissue which is not very permeable, this will not do, right? So there we have got columnar epithelial tissues. Now what these tissues do? So they facilitate the movement across the epithelial barrier, okay, and because of that this absorption and secretion process becomes easier. In respiratory tract, if you see, the columnar epithelial tissues also have cilia. Cilia are nothing but a hair-like projections on the outer surface, and this kind of epithelial tissues are called ciliated columnar epithelium. You can see hair-like projections, right? A long, tall structure. Fine. This cilia can move, and their movement pushes the mucus forward to clear the tract. Okay, next and the last fourth type is cuboidal epithelium. Now what is cuboidal epithelium? So it is a cube-shaped, it has cube-shaped cells, you can easily see. They form the lining of kidney tubules and ducts of salivary gland where it provides the mechanical support. So apart from these four types, sometimes epithelial cells also acquire an additional function as a gland cell. Okay, sometimes they secrete substances as substances at the surface, and such type of epithelial tissues which can fold inward and multicellular gland is formed is called glandular epithelium. So basically there are four main types, and fifth one is glandular epithelium, which is present in the in various glands. Okay, fine. So these are all types of epithelial tissues. Now let us see the second type of tissue, that is connective tissue. Now the word itself suggests what is the main function of connective tissue. It forms a connection, right? These connective tissues are loosely bound cells. The connective tissues inside, if you observe the connective tissue, the cells inside are loosely bound. They are not tightly packed or anything, but they are loosely bound, and they are always present in some intracellular matrix. Intracellular matrix is a kind of medium. Now this matrix can be different type. It can be dense, it can be very rigid, very tough, or it can be fluid like or even a jelly like. So depending upon the type of connective tissue, the intracellular matrix can vary its nature. Depending upon the functionality of the connective tissue, the nature of matrix varies. So there are again some types of connective tissues. The first type is very common, that is called blood. Blood is a kind of connective tissue. Okay, it is present everywhere in our body. Okay, it forms a kind of connection. So blood is also a kind of connective tissue. It has a fluid matrix, and that matrix is commonly known as plasma. In this plasma, RBCs, that is red blood cells, and WBCs, that is white blood cells, along with platelets are suspended. This plasma contains different proteins, salts and hormone. All together, this matrix plus WBC, RBCs and platelet, etc. This all together all together is known as blood. The blood flows and transports gases, digested food, hormones, different waste materials from different parts of the body. So it builds a connection. Okay, but blood is a mixture of plasma, WBC, RBC and platelets. Okay, then there is a second type which is bone. Okay, bone is again a very important part of our or say any animal's body structure, right? It gives the entire framework to your body. It gives a shape. It gives a lot of support. It anchors the muscles and support the main organ of body. Imagine if there are no bones, do you think your brain will get protected? No. Without bone we cannot even protect our heart or a very delicate parts like lungs, ears, internal ear, etc, etc, right? So bone provide a lot of protection to our body. Bone is again a kind of connective tissue. Now let us see what kind of matrix does it have. So when I say the bone provide protection, then it has to be sturdy, it has to be strong, right? That is the reason the intercellular matrix for bone is also very rigid or very hard in nature, and it is made up of calcium and phosphorus compound. Now, similar to bone, we also have cartilages in our body. They are generally present in the nose or ear. Like if you see the upper part of ear, you can easily fold it. It is little hard, but not as hard as bone. So cartilage is also a kind of connective tissue. Okay. The intercellular matrix of this cartilage tissue, it contains different proteins and sugar. It is not as hard as the matrix of bone. Okay. Next part or the next type of connective tissue is called ligament and tendon. Now in 8th standard you must have studied that there are some organs or some structures present between the bones and between muscle and bone. If you see this figure, in this the ligaments and tendons are shown by the grey color, whitish greyish color, right? Okay, so if you see the first part, there you can see red color skeleton muscle, okay, and in brown color you can see the bones. Okay, between the bones and the muscles you can see the greyish part. Okay, this greyish part connects the muscle to the bone. These are called tendons. Okay, so tendons are the structure that connects the muscle to the bone. We need muscle for the movement, right? If the bones are not connected to the muscle, though you have all the bones, you will not be able to do any movement, right? Similarly, we also need ligaments. Ligaments are they are the structure which combines one bone to the another bone. So in the second figure you can see the bones of the palm, okay, and you can see the bones, the smaller bones of the fingers are connected to each other through this structure called ligament. You must have heard the word of ligament tear. कभी किसी को इंजरी होती है तो लिगामेंट टेयर का भी वर्ड हम लोग सुनते हैं, राइट? सो दिस लिगामेंट्स आर नथिंग बट द स्ट्रक्चर दैट कनेक्ट्स बोन टू बोन. These ligaments are also a connective tissue. These tissues are very elastic. Ligaments are very elastic. They are elastic because they are responsible for the movements, right? They are very strong. They have considerable strength. If you talk about tendons, they connect muscle. They are also a fibrous connective tissue, and they have great strength. They are also very strong, but their flexibility is limited. Okay, they are not that flexible, they are not that stretchable. Fine. The next part of connective tissues are areolar tissue and adipose tissue. These two tissues are also a type of connective tissues. Now what are areolar tissues? So these tissues are found between the skin and the muscle, also around the blood vessel and the nerves, and also inside the bone marrow. So there are various spaces which are left between the organs, okay, or even in the inside of organs. So these spaces are filled with the areolar tissues, which are connective tissue. This tissue help in the repair of tissues. Okay, and the second type in this is adipose tissue. Now what are adipose tissues? So adipose tissues are the tissues which stores the fat in our body. Okay, these tissues are found below the skin and between the internal organ. The main function is to hold the fat. Okay, and because of that they have fat globules between this tissue. You can see the bigger structure that stores the fat. Fine, so these were all connective tissues. The next type is called muscular tissue. This is the third type of animal tissue. Now we have got muscles all in our body, right? In every places we have got muscles, right? So these muscles are also a kind of tissues which are made up of muscle fibers. Muscle fibers are long cells. They allow the movements in our body. These muscle fibers contain special protein called contractile protein. This protein can cause contraction or relaxation of the muscles. Fine, and because of this contraction and relaxation, we can do different movements of our body parts. Now let us see the types of muscular tissue. So in muscular tissues we have got three types: smooth muscle, skeletal muscle and cardiac muscle. Now let us see them one by one. Acha, now when I say muscles, the muscles can be of two types mainly. Like there are certain muscles in your body which you can move by your own will. Like if I ask you move your hand, you can move it because you want to move it, right? But if I ask you move the muscle of your lung, can you move that? No, right? So the muscles which you can move by your own wish, by your own will, or which you can control are called voluntary muscles, right? This voluntary muscles, if you observe under a microscope, you will see that they are mostly attached to the bones and they help in the body movement, and they also show alternate light and dark band. Those alternate light or dark band are also called striation. Okay, because of this presence of striation, these type of muscles are called striated muscle. Striated muscles are also called as skeletal muscles. So you can see below the second figure which shows skeletal muscles. So in skeletal muscles different striations are present. These are the muscles which you can control, and hence they are also called voluntary muscle. And the other type of muscle which are present in the alimentary canal, into the respiratory tract, etc., where we cannot control the movement, are called smooth muscles or involuntary muscles. They are also found in the iris of our eye, in uterus or the bronchi of lungs. If you see the smooth muscles, the cells are long and they are pointed at the end. On top, see the third figure, you can see the smooth muscle cell. Okay, it is pointed at the end, and also it has only one nucleus, right? And hence it is also called uninucleate. Fine. Okay, then comes the third type. The third type is called cardiac muscle. From the word cardiac, you must have guessed where these muscles are present. Yes, you are correct, it is present in the heart. The muscles of the heart show rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout our life. If it stops, we are dead, right? So there is a continuous contraction and relaxation in the heart, and that is the reason special type of muscles are present in the heart, and these muscles are called cardiac muscles. These are again a kind of involuntary muscle, and these heart muscle cells are cylindrical, branched, and also they have just one nucleus. Fine. So these were all three types of muscular tissues. Then comes the fourth type of animal tissue, that is nervous tissues. Now nervous tissues are found in nerves, brain and spinal cord. These are the only three places where we can find nervous tissues. The nervous tissue is made up of cells called nerve cells, or they are also called neurons. These neurons combine together and they form the nerves of our body. Nerve cells are present in our nervous system, which is connected with our brain, and it controls all the body movements, all the functioning of our body. So the nerve cells are also called neurons. Now let us quickly see the structure of neurons. So in the neurons, if you see, you can see a branched portion which looks like a head, right, and a tail like structure, right. So these are the two types. Okay, it contains of the main cell body with the nucleus. The head like structure which you can see, it is called cell body. It has a nucleus and cytoplasm. Okay, and the long thin hair like structure which arise from it is called axon. Okay, it is called axon. Into the main body also you can see branch structure, they are called dendrite. Okay, and the axon, the tail portion, ends into again a branch structure which is called axon terminal. This is a structure of single nerve cell or neuron. Many such nerve cells combine together and they make the nerves. Fine. These neurons can be even as long as 1 meter. Fine. So depending upon their location, their length is different, right? So the longest neuron can be as long as 1 meter. If you know, the main function of these nerves or neurons is to carry the messages from different parts of the body to the brain, or from brain to the different parts of the body, and that is the reason it has this special kind of a structure. It has a long tail like structure which can facilitate the collection of message signals, and then again sending it to the designated place. Fine. So again, a structure of neuron will read once. It is an elongated cell with a cell body that consists of some branch like structure called dendrites. There is a nucleus present in the center of cell body. The nerve ending of the cell are connected with the cell body via axon. A nerve cell can be up to 1 meter long. This last point can come as an MCQ question as well. Okay, so these were all 4 types of animal tissues. You can after this explanation, you can just read the content which is given in your textbook once, and then if you have got any doubt, you can ask me in our regular Zoom sessions. Thanks for watching.